Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Screenwriting Storytelling Lab. I'm Coder J, and we're back. This is now Module 1. We're now in Module 1. From where we last left off, we were talking about writing, we were talking about the structure, the introduction. We're back. This is all about storytelling, the foundation of it. Here in Module 1, of course, we broke everything down. We wrote. We started to write according to the structure. We're going to be working with that again in this module. So this is Module 1, and it's all about goal-driven storytelling. It's picking up right where we were. Okay, so a little summary on what we're going to be doing from module one on is by the time we get to module 5, we're going to break every little piece of how a screenplay structure works. By module 10, we're writing a full screenplay. Okay, fit for a feature film. Until then, we are working with fundamentals. We have log lines we're working through, log lines that we're going to be dealing with. We're writing every module, every lesson, right? We're always writing something. We're going to talk. We're going to break things down some more. We're going to continue with our writing lab. Okay. So we're going to head back in. We're going to grab a log line and we're going to start writing again. Okay. So here in module 1, okay, as we begin, again, the story is actually a creative process. Okay. As we focus on fiction, you're creating the story step by step. There's a plot and there's a narrative, which is third person for us. We talked about that. We're changing something over time. There are twists and turns as we make the story. Okay, so from the introduction, you saw how we began to write something. So eventually we'll see that play out. Eventually we'll see that work itself out. We'll see it, get to all the parts of the story. But for now, we're still at the foundation. We have events, incidents, moments. We've got the story itself. We are creating the story. We are in the fiction world. We are dealing with its physics. Goal-driven storytelling. Okay, it is fiction, but just think about it for a minute. Think about the physics within your story. Think about the characters that you're creating as we're in module 1 right now. Module 1, the foundations of our storytelling, our narrative, our thinking, our creative process, especially when it comes to twists and turns and the characters involved. Think about what we have already worked on. We're at a location, something's happening, there's dialogue, there's a character, he plays a part, his name is a name, his position in society is position. Things happen, there's dramatic things that happen. Something serious might happen, for example, something shocking, if you will. Something that would be concerning in a real life situation. So if you look at your story, your character, and what he's doing, what he's dealing with, you can see yourself diving into that. See yourself creating it, being a part of it, extending it, extend your story. Kind of be a part of it, feel your way through it. And we'll be doing that some more here. We'll be, dealing with that kind of thing here and really, understanding the creative process. So today we're going to continue our goal-driven storytelling lab, our narrative, our twists and turns, of course, goal-driven storytelling process. Okay, so let's go ahead now, without any further delay here, if you will. Okay, all about foundational work, creative writing, repetition. We're going to see everything we did, building blocks. Okay, so we haven't really gotten too far from what we already talked about. You're going to see it again. You're going to go through these modules and you're going to learn. And you're going to learn how to write these screenplays. So let's grab our log line for our writing exercise, if you will, here in module 1 to start. Screenwriting, right? Screenwriting is where we are. This is our lab. Let me go ahead now and see if I can get you the log line. Okay, here we go. So our next exercise, the next few pages we're going to write of a screenplay, is right here, right now in module 1. So here we go. A lifelong resident walks into his favorite store and finds it completely changed, leading him to wonder whether the town around him and his own memories of the place are not what they seem. That's what we got to go on. Again, we're not copying anything. There's nothing that we have to reference, really. We don't have anything to reference. This is all we have. All you have, guys, is a log line. And working with me, Coder J, we're going to get a story started and we're going to continue right where we were. So if you remember the formatting, it starts with a title. So we're going to start that right now. And of course, I talked about tabs. I'm calling it tab 8. So here we go. Okay, so that means 1, 2, 3, we have a title. Okay, so we have tab 4 here. And remember all this. And at tab 4, we have a thriller. And we have a mystery. So that is very similar to a very similar semantics to a parenthetical. So it's the same semantics, it's the same tab 4. And we're dealing with a thriller and a mystery today. So we have a title that's using 3 tabs at 8 spaces. So let's see how that works again. Let me go here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go back. So 1, 2, 3. So that is tab 8 times 3. So that means you've got 8 times 3 spaces to get to title. To get to tab 4, which is basically the parenthetical, in dialogue, in the title, we're just using it as the genre. But it's the same concept for that. It's tab 4. So which means we're basically doing what? We're doing 2.5, right? So we will go here. So 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We were here, right there. And let's go back. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So yeah, I mean, you see what we're doing there. Okay, so let's pull back everything. That's how you do your tabs. We'll come back to that again. And we want 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you know now what the 1, 2, 3 is. You know, tab, tab, tab. You see what it is. Written by you. Fade in. So this is going to be a repetitive process, and you're going to find that out fairly quickly under my pedigree here, under Coder J's pedigree. We're going to really see things come together. You're going to see a pattern. We're really going to really work on this, work on everything. So goal-driven, creative-driven. This guy walks into his favorite store, finds it completely changed, leading him to wonder whether the town around him and his memories are not what they seem. So that's the premise of the story. His store, so the thing, it surrounds a store. It's about the store and how the store changed in the town. It's, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, it's kind of a small town with a store. But here is our creative process at work. It doesn't have to start at a store at all. The premise is this guy has his favorite store and something changed and it's mysterious and it's a situation. We don't know when he's going to walk into the store. So the goal-driven thought process here is, yeah, he's going to walk into the store eventually. He's going to find it completely changed. We're going to wonder what's going on. Things are not what they seem. So he's not necessarily there yet. So we might fade in somewhere else. Okay, so we're inside a place. Okay, so let's say it's a building, right? So we can think about a building and maybe he's somewhere else and it's an office building. And it's daytime. Okay. So now we have a third party, you know, third person narrative situation going on here. What's going on in there? A third person narrative here. So we're going to write that action line as far as what's going on. But it has nothing to do with the story yet. We're going to get there. But when you start these stories, it could start from anywhere is my point. Fading into some office building room. Okay. So a few people walk by in the hallway nearby. A man is sitting at a desk reading from a paper. Okay, there is a small screen nearby, and it has the news playing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Parenthetical from our last module. So this has nothing to do with the log line yet, but it starts the story. It was just a random guy, a random man in his office. We don't know who he is right now yet. So it's safe to say that our main character is probably at work. He's either out of town at work, and then he eventually comes back to the store. So we're building the story here in module 1. Okay. So to himself, 1, 2 is where the dialogue begins. Something's playing on the news. Can't believe the price of oranges has increased again. Okay. So now we need a name. Jeff, a worker in the office, enters the room. So we're in the room. We're still in that room, right? So think about how we started. Fade in, office building, room, day. A few people walk by in the hallway nearby. A man is sitting at the desk reading from a paper. There's a small screen nearby, and it has the news playing, right? Some news program. The screen is probably like a flat screen, right? Okay, so office building, room. A few people walk by in the hallway nearby. A man is sitting at a desk reading from a paper. There's a small flat screen nearby, and it has a news playing. So you can see how that's working out now. Again, if we make any mistakes or any grammatical mistakes, we'll come back and fix everything. Okay, so we're just creating in real time, basically a rough draft of a story. You're going to go back and fix everything. Our goal or concern here, again, as we work our way through our modules, is to create the story, build the story, have that creative process going, or thinking, that creative thinking continuing, and then you can fix the letters and the words along the way, the grammar along the way. As long as you're getting the creative flow onto the page, then we can always structure our grammar later on down the road. But the story itself is already, the creative flow is already built on top of the format of what we're doing in screenwriting. So that's the priority of the course. Again, right? You'll see that in the intro. When you see the intro, I talked about that. So the English and the grammar are not as much of a priority, but we're going to do everything we can to keep things grammatically correct, of course, right? It's not this is not a literature course. It's again a creative writing, best effort, real time. This is how we create the story. So for those that are trying to create the story, get things flowing, that's what this is all about. So let's continue. Okay, so again, we're fading in. We're inside the office. It's a room. A few people walk by in the hallway nearby. A man is sitting at the desk. We don't know who he is, reading from a paper. There's a small flat screen nearby, and the news is playing. Can't believe the price of oranges has increased again. Jeff, a worker in the office, enters the room. Now we're going to try to extend our dialogue here. So now our tab should feel natural now. Sam, are you still, watching that news channel? Still checking prices of prices of fruit. As a matter of fact, you know, Jeff, yes. So Jeff continues. Whatever ever happened to a sports channel or or the weather channel. So now you can keep going here. You can just kind of build your dialogue. Well, I thought about that, but I always you know come back to the oranges. Like so you kind of make it a little bit funny and a little witty there, and so Jeff moves over to a desk and pulls a small like a small like little item or some small trinket from the desk. Okay, something like that, right? So he's just moving around there. So Jeff, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can think about what our parenthetical could be for Jeff. And let's look to see. We're in a good mood, so we're calmly doing something, right? So we can calmly do something and change the course of the conversation. Okay, so he's going to ask a question. What ever happened to that Bilkins report we looked into last year? Like, some, the twists and turns of where we are. So now I don't know what happened to that report. Okay, let's ask let's ask let's see here. Let's ask Cherry about it. She knows. Okay, a coworker walks by the room. She is in the hallway. Int hallway day. Cherry is introduced, and we'll go back and see if there's anything we need to fix or change or okay, so let's we'll get to it. So we'll say something like we'll have Cherry say, okay, ask Cherry about what? Now we'll be introduced to a new construct of our screenplay writing in a minute, but let's go back and see how what we need to break down. So again, guys, welcome back. This is our lab here with Coder J. You're with Coder J writing screenplays. We've got a title, it's a thriller, it's a mystery. The guy, one of our characters, we don't know who he is yet. returns to his town. He enters the store, and it's completely different. Right now, to start the screenplay, we're just in an office building. Okay, so you're building the story from somewhere else. We're not quite there yet. Okay, so later he may get to the store, but we're concerned with building the story. Okay, so when we get to writing the full screenplay, we never may get to the store or what the log line says until maybe, the 7th section of that module. So maybe, for example, module 10, section 7, depending on how long we need to build that story. But today is about, the goal-driven storytelling creative process, right? You're starting off with some kind of introduction, something to build a story that's nothing to do with the store, right? So you have to start thinking creatively and progressively. Okay, that's what's going on there. That progressive thinking before you even get to the story. That progressive creativity before you even get to what the log line said. So you're fading in. You're in the office building. Okay. Again, the creative progressive process, right? The goal-driven creative process. We're fading into the office building. We're in a room. People walk by in the hallway nearby. A man is sitting. So if people walk by in the hallway nearby, a man is sitting at a desk, reading from a paper. There's a small flat screen nearby, and it has a news playing. That man to himself, I can't believe the price of oranges has increased again. Jeff, a worker in the office, enters the room. Sam, are you still watching that news channel? Still checking prices on fruit? Okay, so we can, start to make our corrections, So that man is now Sam. See? These are the corrections that I'm talking about, right? We're going to break it through. Don't worry too much about the little, rough draft mishaps that need correction. That's natural. We are real time here. You're real time again with Coder J working on these screenplays. Okay, Sam. As a matter of fact, Jeff, yes. Okay, so let's make some, keep correcting it. Whatever happened to a sports channel or the weather channel, right? Okay, so that's Sam. That man is Sam. We got a couple characters now. Well, I thought about that, but I always come back to the oranges. Jeff moves over to the desk and pulls a small trinket from the desk. What happened? Can you tell me? Can you tell me what happened to that Bilka's report? Okay. And we need to get boxy here. Get boxy. All right. Dialogue is boxy. Right. So box style dialogue. So no rush, guys. As well, I thought about that, but I always come back to the oranges. Jeff moves over to the desk and pulls a small trinket from the calmly. The parenthetical calmly. It's an adverb that we're using. We're working with adverbs. Can you tell me what happened to that Bilkins report we looked into last year? I don't know what happened to that report. Let's ask Cherry about it. She knows. So that's what Sam is saying here. So Cherry's introduced, a coworker, walks by the room. She's in the hallway. Into hallway day. Ask Cherry about what? Now, if they're in the other room, okay, so if they're in here we go, we'll just work on some more semantics. If they're in the other room, which is that room, right there, then what we can do, instead of writing, we don't want to repeat ourselves in writing, what you can do is intercut with, right? Int room day. So we know we're in the building. So we don't have to keep, writing our scene headings over and over again. So intercut with allows us to understand that, okay, Cherry's in the hallway, Sam's in the room, okay, and here we go. Okay. So now all you got to do is create the dialogue, because the intercut, we're intercutting with until something changes. Oh, hi Cherry. We were just talking. Talking about what? I thought you knew something. I thought you knew something about the Bilkins report. They're in the office and they're talking and everything like that. So EN is how I spelled it. All right. What do you need to know? How can I help you? Okay, and Sam's going to respond, and did it ever get to um, Andy's team, something like that. So they just keep going back and forth. They'll continue to communicate this way until something changes. So they're going back and forth, back and forth. We don't ever have to change the scene heading. Why? Because we have our intercut with inserted. Okay. All right. So we were just talking about what? I thought you knew something about the Bilkins report. All right. Well, what do you need to know? How can I help you? Did it ever get to Andy's team? Let's see here. They're still having a conversation. I'll need to change the headings. We can do a parenthetical here. I'll figure out what's going on there in a minute. I don't think it ever got the desk. Well, Terry, that's very reassuring. Okay, so let's see how Cherry feels here. Grab your adverb. And it's kind of it's kind of a sarcastic kind of thing there, Amusedly. Okay, something like that. So that's what's going on there. So we can go ahead and count our tabs again. All right, so you're going to say, okay, three tabs. 2 tabs and a half. This is tab 4. And two tabs and a half end up here. The 2 tabs and a half end up right where my cursor is. Amusedly, the parenthetical. Okay, so there's Sam. No, not at this time. Maybe later. I'll be here. I'll be here if you need me, something like that, or So there's a sarcastic attitude going on there. So now we can start to make our way down. And change the scene heading. So the next thing we want to do, okay, is probably cut to something. When we're out of the room, we're going to cut to somewhere. Cut to externally office building, street, day. So let's see what's going on here. So we abruptly cut to outside the office building in the street. Okay. And you can say, okay, there is a driver standing by a car, waiting patiently. That same Jeff, exiting the building, heads over to the driver. Okay, so continue your dialogue. Hey, you're right on time. Hey, you're on time today. That's new. Only for you, Jeff. All right, let's keep going here. Jeff laughs and enters the vehicle. So where are we now? We're on the so we're in a vehicle. So the car moves down the road. Jeff stares out the window. He's in deep thought. It's the end of the office day. He's heading back. So we can keep going here. So Jeff, staring out the window, is in deep thought as it is the end of the day, of the workday. So let's see where we are. All right, let's get introduced to more semantics here. Okay. He was in the vehicle. Now we're going to dissolve to int home living area. And let's see what time of day it is, right? It's later. Okay. And Jeff is opening a can of food and in deep thought. So it's safe to say that our thinking process can be that Jeff is our main character. We're creating the story. Jeff is our main character. He's the one that's going to go back to his town eventually and go to his favorite store and find that it's completely changed. But for today, before you get to the log line, it's goal-driven, creative process before you even get there. So we don't have to get there yet. Just create the story, build it up front. So at this point, as the writer, not the reader, the writer, you're the writer, you're going to think now. Jeff is our guy. He's our main character. He's going to be the one heading back to town. He's in deep thought in his living area. He's probably thinking about going home. So think about how the story is going to continue before you even write it. He's going to think about going home. He's going to eventually get to the store and we're going to fulfill our log line eventually. He's dealing with some office politics stuff, and he's got some folks that he's dealing with in the office. There's some reports that he's dealing with, and so you can expand on that later on. He's got a driver that he knows. He's obviously in a city-like area right now. He's at his home, probably somewhere outside the city. So this is the thinking process. So on our last one here, the driver said, only for you, Jeff. Jeff laughs and enters the vehicle. Okay, so we can kind of look at our grammar for a minute. We're in the vehicle at this point. Jeff is staring out the window, is in deep thought. As it is the end of the workday, dissolve to. So from the screen perspective, you're dissolving to a later time. The screen heading, home, living area, later. Jeff is opening a can of food in deep thought. He's staring, staring intently or something like that. So we'll keep going. Jeff eventually shows that he is, and displays that he's a little tired, right? And goes in. Okay. Next day, jump to it. Int office room morning. Straight to it. See? So now you're continuing as Sam. So Sam was introduced before. Enters the room. Let's see here. Jeff is also there. All right. So how do we do this? 1, 2, 3. If you don't know where you are, tab 8, tab 8, tab 8. 1, 2, 3. Sam. This is tab 8 again, guys. Okay, Sam. Sam lines up nicely with Jeff and the driver, so you can kind of work your way through everything. We're back in the office, and Sam is here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go back up here and continue to dissect where we are. So 2 tabs for dialogue, 3 tabs for character, 2 tabs and a half for parenthetical. So guys, again, welcome back. I mean, we're continuing our screenplay writing lab, screenplay storytelling lab where we're writing. This is the flow of our course. I'm Coder J, and again, welcome. We're going to keep going here as far as we can. This is module 1. We're in the office. We're in a room. It's morning. Okay. It's Sam, a character who's part of the story. Sam's got something to say. Jeff, you've been a little quiet lately. Not sure what you're talking about. All right. So think about, again, the flow of your screenplay. We're just back in the office in a room and it's morning time and they're talking. All right. So the flow of the conversation. How about you and I go see the game? Right? Just basic dialogue, right? We're starting off pretty simple. 2, 3, 4. We're starting off in a way that keeps it simple, standard. We know this from a lot of shows you may watch. I'm keeping the dialogue simple to begin at the beginning. Yeah, again, this will be a long journey here. This is the community. You're a part of the community here. We're going to work as far and as long as we can, and our creativity can extend pretty far. I mean, that's just kind of where we are. So let's take our time. This is Coder J. I dedicate this course to the screenwriting. I've been a writer most of my life. I've written a lot of things in different formats, different styles, different languages, coding languages. But today, module 1 right here, screenwriting. All right. How does Jeff feel? Let's grab an adverb and we'll find a stopping point, believe it or not, here in a minute. And I'll tell you why we didn't get to the store. We did not get to the store because you've got to build the story first. The store is not ready yet. The store scene is not ready to be built yet. So before you get to the store and what the log line said, build the story. And what was today about? Goal-driven storytelling. So no rush. We'll find a stopping point here in a minute. Let's get an adverb and break it down. We'll find an adverb for Jeff, first parenthetical. Then we'll break down what we've written so far, and then we'll call it a module. We'll call it module 1. And there may be module 1B, depending on, like I said in the introduction, depending on what's going on. There may be different sections to each module depending on what we have to do. So I don't know if there's going to be a 1B or not. We'll see. But just follow. All you have to do is follow the community, follow the course, and everything will be in order. Okay. So just follow it in order, and sometimes you'll see sections, and just keep going through each module. And once you do that, one step at a time, repetition, just in order, following everything in order, there's no doubt that you're going to get somewhere in screenwriting with Coder J in this community. So again, guys, good to have you here. What's our adverb? Feel free to research a little bit on how Jeff feels. He may be awkward here. Awkwardly, right? All right, you guys can, of course, make that choice. You're also a part of this too. You could choose what you want to happen there. Let me guess. You got tickets. So why do you think I'm not doing well? So now you can, guys, now you can take it from here. Let's scroll down a bit. Now you can take it from here. Jeff, you've been a little quiet lately. You're not sure what you're talking about. How about you and I go see the game tonight? Awkwardly. Let me guess. You got tickets. Well, why do you think I'm not doing well, or whatever you're talking about? So now you can take it from there inside the office. Sam and Jeff have been introduced early. So Sam and Jeff were introduced at the beginning. So let's wrap things up in module 1. This might be module 1A from what we're already seeing. We want to. I'm sure some of you want to continue this story, right? So we'll most likely get to module 1B in a minute, or next time, that is. So one thing at a time, one step at a time. Again, guys, I'm glad to have you here. Good to have you as part of the community here. So that man was introduced here. This is a small review recap here. He's the man to himself. I can't believe the price of oranges has increased again. If there's grammar issues here, don't worry about it. I'm not seeing any right now. But again, this is not a grammar course. It's a creative build off the log line. We'll clean up that grammar at a later time. And when we write, this is just a lab. It's practice. When we write our project, when we do our projects later, which is a full screenplay, then we'll focus on getting all that together and cleaning stuff up and, looking at the, at the grammar, right? So right now I'm not seeing any issues grammatically, but let's just focus on the structure, right? Man to himself. Jeff, at work in the office, enters the room. So Jeff is introduced, all caps. Okay. We'll always go this over, and you'll, again, through repetition, you'll get this. And again, you work through everything here and you'll be fine. You seek to be a screenwriter, and, you're working with Coder J to get there, right? Jeff, Sam, are you still watching that news channel? Still checking prices on fruit? So now we know who that man is. See? That man is Sam. See? Man is Sam. As a matter of fact, Jeff, yes. Whatever happened to a sports channel or the weather channel? Well, I thought about that, but I always come back to the oranges. Jeff moves over to a desk, pulls a small trinket from the desk. Jeff calmly, can you tell me what happened to that Bilkins report we looked at last year? So you have a good parenthetical there. We know how they feel. Let's ask Cherry about it. She knows. Cherry, a co-worker, walks by the room. She's in the hallway. Ask Cherry about what? Intercut with the room so we don't have to repeat ourselves. See? So now we're talking about what? I thought you knew something about the Bilkins report. Cherry, all right, what do you need to know? How can I help you? Did you ever, Get to Andy's team. I don't think it ever got to the desk. Well, it's here. That's very reassuring. Is there anything else I can help you with? No, not at this time. Maybe later. I'll be here if you need me. Cut to the street where we have the driver waiting for Jeff, right? Cherry's mood here is a silly mood, so you can probably find another adverb. The silliness going on. She's not serious, right? So let's find something that we can plug in there. Like something positive, just to kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And think about a silly adverb that we can put in there. I guess we can say jokingly, just to just for time's sake at this point, jokingly, silly joking and all that. She's not serious, right? She's not being serious. So cut to and heads over to the driver. Hey, and more dialogue. Jeff laughs, and now we're back in the vehicle. We stare at the window. Dissolve to home after he's in deep thought. And we're back in the office, and we'll go ahead and stop there. So guys, this is module 1, and we'll get to the next module as soon as possible. Not sure if it's module 2 yet. We're probably still in module 1. If we're still in module 1, it will be module 1B, and that's how we're going to run the course going forward. So I'll see you as soon as possible, guys. I'll see you for the next module.